Good afternoon, everyone. I can't hear you. Good afternoon. That's better. I like good energy. My name is Dr. Kwame Anderson, and I am the Vice President of the Programs Department at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. And I am delighted to stand before you today to just welcome you here to our Emerging Leader Series. Within the Programs Department, we have the Leadership Institute for Public Service, and there we have the Emerging Leader Interns, as well as the Congressional Fellows. And we are very dedicated to developing our future generation of policy leaders. So I wanted to just take a few minutes, not just to welcome you, but to share some things that are on my heart. I first want to thank Ms. Attorney Karima Arthur. She's been our lead consultant on this. Where is Karima? Thank you, Karima. She's worked very hard to make sure that everyone had the best of everyone in their fields to sit and impart wisdom and information with you. And the program staff that are here, can you stand, please? All right, give them a round, warm of applause. They work extremely hard and do so much just to make moments like this a reality. Now, this is the Emerging Leaders Power Luncheon, where you are being matched with a mentor based on your area of interest or discipline. And I wanted to look at the word mentor, and the definition that I see is an experienced and trusted advisor. So before you, you have persons who are experienced in their field, but it's also someone you can trust. And in my 15 years of working inside the Beltway, I think I probably have close to 30 mentors. And that has been the critical variable in my professional career. A mentor can open doors that you can sometimes never walk through. So don't just take this moment to pick their brains, but take this moment to begin the first step of a journey of a relationship that can help you as you aspire to reach your career trajectory. Now, that's all I have to say about that, but I want to get ready to turn it over to a very special young man named Rontel Beatty. He's a FAMU rattler, but I'm not holding it against him. But anyway, Rontel is a 2010 Congressional Black Caucus Fellow alumni. And before you is a dynamic young man who went through our program the summer of 2010. And from there, he was able to secure employment with Congresswoman Corrine Brown from Jacksonville, Florida. And he worked there for 2 years. Jacksonville, give it up. Okay, you got your moment in the sunshine. And since his time on the Hill, he came to the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, and he was a program coordinator for the internship and fellowship program for 3 years. And now he is the National Director of Partnership at AMI Kids. And this is a critical job that he does because, as you can hear, he started a pattern. He went on the Hill. He took his legislative experience to start imparting that into other interns coming behind him. And since that time, he's taken it to an organization who provides wraparound services. And the numbers that he just gave me, because of AMI reaching out to at-risk juveniles, they are able to reduce recidivism by 78%. That's an astounding number. The national average of reduction of recidivism is 50%. So they obviously are doing something right by providing family counseling and health care and vocational services and training and GEDs to individuals who otherwise wouldn't have it. So as you sit here and you talk with people, think about what you're going to take away from here. But most of all, think about it, how you're going to use it when you leave to apply it to make someone else's life better. And thank you so much. And now, Rontel, please, you can take over.
I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Anderson for such a wonderful introduction. That was the kindest introduction I've ever received in life, I think. And also I'd like to thank each of you for such a warm welcome. By a show of hands, can you please tell me if this is your first Emerging Leaders Power Luncheon? Oh, that's a lot, okay. Is this your second? Okay. 3 or more? All right, well, give yourselves a round of applause. And as you can see, I'm very excited to be here with you this afternoon in the spirit of mentorship, connecting young people with the resources, network, and opportunities to reach one's full potential is the lifeblood of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, as Dr. Anderson was mentioning. So in this moment, I'd like to encourage each of you to have a good time and create strong relationships with each and every person, not only at your table, but in this room. And I know everyone in here has smartphones, so I'd also like to encourage each of you to engage with the CBCF on our social media platforms. Be sure to tag at CBCF Inc. in your Twitter and Instagram posts. Use the hashtag on Facebook. Take as many pictures as humanly possible. We want to spread the good word about what we're doing here today. So I now have the esteemed honor and privilege of bringing to the podium Mr. Don Peebles. He is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the nation, owning one of the country's few national, privately held real estate investment and development corporations called the Peebles Corporation, with a billion-dollar portfolio of projects nationwide. He is currently the chairman of the board of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation and is a 2-time former member of President Barack Obama's National Finance Committee. So without further delay, please help me in welcoming Mr. Peebles to the podium.
Thank you, Rontel, for that introduction. I was a little worried for a moment, though. He was saying millions, and I was saying maybe this is a backwards rewind of some sort. I run a company called the Peebles Corporation. It is the largest African American owned real estate development company in the country. I started it here in Washington, D.C. when I was 23 years old in 1983. So I'm sure to your surprise, you'd be surprised if I told you that this is my 40th annual legislative conference. So I started coming when I was 16. And so I took the Peebles Corporation from 1983, we built our first building, which was $10 million, and today our current projects run about $500 million or so, and we have over $4 billion of projects around the country. We do business and build buildings in Washington, D.C., New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, Miami and South Beach, San Francisco, Las Vegas, and many other places around the country. And so, I'm pleased with the experience that I've had, but I'll tell you, it all started in an environment like this. I've been mentored, and one of the things I think also about what mentors can do, I think Dr. Anderson mentioned 3 things. I think what mentors can do is they can believe in you. And so I think belief in your abilities and helping you achieve your goals based on a belief of confidence in your ability to perform is also key to mentorship. So I grew up in D.C. My parents, my mother had me at 19 years old. She raised me. My parents got divorced when I was 5 years old. So I grew up in D.C., raised by a single parent. My father was an auto mechanic, and my mother was a secretary and then got her real estate sales license. And that was my exposure to the real estate business. My paternal grandfather was a janitor in a public school system in Emporia, Virginia, that his kids could not attend because it was segregated. And my maternal grandfather was a hotel doorman at the Wardman Park Marriott Hotel here in Washington, D.C. And just to give you an idea of what is possible, I happen to own a Marriott hotel here in Washington, D.C. as well. It happens to be one of the top 5 performing hotels in the Marriott system worldwide. And it's been run since the day I opened it by an African American general manager, first an African American woman, and currently an African American man who grew up here in Southeast Washington, D.C. in public housing. And he started off working for me as a busboy, and I believed in his ability, and my team did, and we gave him the opportunity to be a night desk clerk. And from there, he ended up in 5 years running the hotel. And he is also the second African American to be chairperson of the Greater Washington, D.C. Hotel Association. So I want to talk a little bit about mentorship. I had big dreams, and that's part of why you're here too. You have big dreams. And one of the challenges that I had with those big dreams is having people believe that, like I did, that they were possible. But they are possible. And you're in an environment where anything is possible. You're in a country with its challenges that anything's possible. And so in my experience, I was mentored by Congressman John Conyers. I was a staff aide for him my last year of high school. Mentored by Congressman Ron Dellums. I was an intern for him. And then Congressman Charlie Rangel, I was an intern for him. So I had those experiences that exposed me to what the possibilities are. And so I had these goals. In high school, they got bigger as I got to understand how big the world was. And then I had the good fortune of being mentored by the mayor of Washington, D.C., the longest-serving mayor of Washington, D.C., Marion Barry. And that was where I got the opportunity to build my first office building. So I actually built my first building when I was 26. So I became a multimillionaire at 26 years old. And I started my company, which was a real estate consulting business, at 23 years old. And so every step of the way, I had these big dreams. And then if I accomplished something that I sought out to do, then I dreamed something else bigger. And never or rarely did anyone tell me that my dreams got too big for me. And so what I'd like to do is impart with you is that there's no limit to what you can do. There really isn't. I told you my history. By the way, I forgot to mention also, I dropped out of college after my freshman year. So I went to Rutgers University. My parents were all excited I was going to go into pre-med, going to be a doctor, and I disappointed them tremendously. Now, later on in life, they forgave me for it because it proved to be a good decision. But so I was not the poster child for what would be great success. There were far many people who were more accomplished educationally than I was, who started off from a better place or easier place than I did. But anything's possible. And so today, I run a $4 billion company. Forbes magazine says I'm one of the top 5 richest African Americans in the country. My goal is not to stop there. But also, there's not been a limit that I have found that I can't accomplish. And so there's not one that you can't accomplish. And so your dreams should be your dreams, because the one most important thing also is passion. I love what I do. I enjoy it. I get to mix it up a bit. I'm chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Board, an organization that early on gave me my opportunity and some exposure, so I've been able to give back to that through that vehicle. But I enjoy pretty much every day I go to work. I like what I do. I love what I do. And that was my passion. And part of why I'm particularly decent at it is because I love doing it. And so I would tell you that you should look and follow your passion. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it, because all they're doing is projecting their self-esteem issues on you. Don't believe people when they say, oh, it can't be done, because it can. Because I grew up in a time when there was no ATM machine. I was in college when an ATM machine came out, before you had to go into a bank and cash a check. I was that's okay. They're telling me not to wrap up my story, but anyway, being the chairman, I get to go on a little longer. So, but I thank you. So, as I was saying, that a cell phone was unheard of. Internet wasn't created. None of these apps were created. I had to go into my company and sign checks every day. Now I do it electronically. So all of those things were created during my lifetime. I never, ever thought that I would see an African American as president of the United States, because that was my issue during my time. In fact, when Barack Obama asked me to help him raise money for this presidential campaign, I had done so for Jesse Jackson. And I told, and I'd also been a big supporter of Bill Clinton's, and so I told the president now, when he was then Senator Obama, I don't see how you can win. Hillary's going to win the nomination. And I remember telling Bill Clinton, look, I'm sorry, but when Hillary wins the nomination, I'll come on board and support her. But I did not see it. Barack Obama saw it, and look what we have. We have the first African-American president of the United States who's been transformative in terms of changing our nation, and who has set an environment of limitless opportunity for all of you all. So I tell you, go out, dream big dreams, go make those dreams come true, and you can. Thank you.
I'd now like to bring up Miss Nilka Thomas from Google. She has a few opening and welcome remarks for you guys, so please give her a round of applause as she comes to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is such a pleasure to be in the room with all of you guys today. My name is Nilka Thomas. I'm a director of diversity at Google, and Google is a very proud sponsor of this event. I'm also very privileged personally to be able to address this group about something that's been really personally and professionally important in my life, which is mentorship. So nothing great is ever accomplished on our own. When I look back at every single success that I have had, I'm able to trace that back to an individual or a mentor that helped me to achieve that for myself. Last month, I had an opportunity to reconnect with the person that was actually my very first mentor in my life. I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, and I left home at about 17 years old for a track scholarship at the University of Oregon. And I don't know how many of you guys follow track and field, but University of Oregon is sort of known for the success of its track program. And I can remember in those early days when I arrived there just being completely shell-shocked at the level of competitiveness that existed in this program, and it was something that I simply had not been accustomed to. And looking back on it now, the person that sort of took me under their wing and believed in me, I think so much about what they were able to impart for me in terms of my own success there. At that time, I was pretty young, wet behind the ears, a long way from home, and found myself really struggling for the very first time in my life. And this person was able to help me find my path. They were able to help me build my confidence by finding those successes, and then ultimately also build strength around some of the failures. And I'm certain, reflecting back on it today, that if it weren't for her, I simply wouldn't have been a success. And it'd been a long time since we had connected, but it reminded me of just how important mentors are, she and other people in my life along the way. And it also reminded me that I was able to accomplish something that I simply did not believe was possible. But because I was able to reach out for help and lean on somebody for their support and experiences, I was able to achieve something great. So what I'd like to share with all of you guys today is that sort of mentorship can be so positive in our life. I think that I identify this pattern where I have been able to take on new experiences and do something new and great, even though those new experiences can sometimes lead to uncertainty and insecurity, which is oftentimes very natural. But when you have a mentor that's able to shine a light on the path that has been down that road that you want to travel and is willing to share their experiences, it opens up so many possibilities for you to be able to achieve your goals. So at Google, we believe deeply in the power of mentorship. I'm part of a team that has a responsibility of building the next generation of diverse leaders for our industry, and mentorship is a significant part of that. So inside the organization, we design programs that help incoming Googlers to find pathways to leadership through mentorship and coaching. And then outside of the organization, we're investing in up-and-coming leaders in our communities. Last year, we launched a program called CS Edge, which is targeted to middle and high school students in Oakland and in California to give them exposure and experiences to coding and computer science, and we're seeing the significant impact of those investments. So I just want to say thank you to all of the mentors in the room for the work that you are doing, the generous investments that you're making. No doubt you've seen the power of mentorship in your own lives, which is why you're paying it forward. I want to say thank you to the CBCF for allowing us to sponsor this great event and for the work that you're doing to prepare all of these emerging young leaders of today to be the trailblazers of tomorrow. And then for all of the emerging leaders in the room, Google salutes you for your successes and your ingenuity. Continue to empower yourselves by surrounding yourselves with people that are investing in you. And one day you're going to be the experts in your field, able to offer that guidance and wisdom to somebody else and pay it forward. So I just want to say thank you again and best of luck.
Let's give her one more round of applause for that great story. All right, I know everyone is dying to get the conversation started. I just have a few announcements before we begin. So the format of this is mentors. We would, like for you to give advice on how to gain the competitive advantage in today's job market, tap into the entrepreneurial spirit, and enhance and sort of share with your mentees how to enhance their leadership skills, and also share some of the personal lessons or stories that you learn along the way that you think may help them as they blaze the trails that you've already traveled upon. For the mentees, be inquisitive, soak up all the knowledge, use the lessons that you've learned to develop an action plan. We have about 53 minutes. We know that won't be enough time, but we want to make the most of it. I also want to call your attention to the surveys that should be in the middle of each table, I think. Please be sure to fill those out prior to leaving. And before we start, I definitely want to acknowledge all of our mentors who have so graciously given up time in their busy schedules to be with us today. So when you hear your name, please stand, wave to the crowd, and I ask that everyone sort of hold their applause to the end so that we can get to the conversations that I know you guys are so eager to have. Lisa Remsen, who's the president and CEO of the Augustus Hawkins Foundation. There she is. Does everyone know who Augustus Hawkins is? I hear a bunch of no's. Founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Dr. Pam Sidney, she's the CEO of the American Energy Association. Please wave. Elise Constantinidine, Esquire. She's a United States Attorney with the U.S. Department of Justice. There she is. Please wave. We have Samira Ali, Esquire. She's a partner with Ali, White, and Coleman. Is she here? Okay. We have Dr. Kamal Bob, who is a program officer with the National Science Foundation of STEM. There he is. Nicole Colbert, Esquire. She's a chief executive officer with the Colbert Johnson Romney. We have Amanda Miller Littlejohn, CEO of Amanda Miller Littlejohn Media Group. All right. Dr. Avis Jones DeWeaver, President and CEO of Insight Unlimited and the Exceptional Leadership Institute for Women. All right. We have Jesse Rodels, the President and CEO of Jesse Rodels Olympic Artists, LLC. All right. Dr. Stephanie Coakley, CEO of Maximum Mental Training Association. Harold Johnson, partner with Colbert Johnson Romney. All right. We have celebrity chef Jerome Brown, CEO of Hot Grits. All right. Breon Wells, CEO and founder of the Daniel Initiative and Empathy Campaign Director. All right. Dr. Chaseman Jackson, Senior Science Policy Analyst and National Institute of Health Portfolio Lead with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We have Pamela Whitley, Deputy Assistant Administrator for NextGen Federal Aviation Association. All right, hello. We have Dr. Rustin Lewis, CEO of RML Consulting Group. Jonathan Hubbard, Associate Complex Manager with Morgan Stanley. We have Sharon Washington, CEO and founder of P3 Solutions. Tamara Walker, Director of Recruitment and Retention with Yes We Code. All right. Byron C. Willis, Executive Director of Emerging Markets, Industrial Products, Marketing and Sales with Union Pacific. Will Walters, founder and owner of Monarch Magazine. James McMillan, Esquire, founder and CEO of James McMillan PC. Please give all of our mentors a great big round of applause. So without further delay, let the mentorship begin.
scholarship programs at the foundation. And I just want to give you all some parting words. First and foremost, as everyone has said, thank you again, mentors, for coming out and engaging with our leaders, our emerging leaders. So this concludes our actual session for today. And just a few reminders, please make sure that you turn in your surveys, the mentors and the mentees as well. And that concludes. I hope that you have had engaging conversations, and I hope that they will continue in the future. So enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.